Okay, sorry about that, everyone. We had a problem with the volume and had to get it set back up. I apologize. Okay, so we'll start back over. So this I3 webinar is covering Cycle 5 student creation on devices, and this includes students being creative communicators and designers. So I hope that everyone is having a good day. I'm sorry about the issue with our volume a moment ago. So my name is Crystal Shepard, and I'm the school librarian and I3 here at Webb, and I will be your presenter today. And then we have Christine Seapaul. She is our moderator, and she is a 7th grade reading teacher in I3 at Schrady. So if you have any questions, please ask them on the chat, and she will help you as much as possible as we go along. I am, of course, available for questions as well. And here are our email addresses and Twitter handles. Then, of course, at the end of the webinar, Christine will post the link for your CPE credit. So please be sure to click on that and get your credit for the webinar today.
If you're in the building, please come to the front office. Abdullah Hassan, please come to the front office.
So the topic today that we are focusing on is student creation, and the two tools that we're going to look at are Cacoo and Canva. So I selected these two tools primarily because of the technology we have readily available at my campus. Within the library, we have 9 desktop stations, but this year Chromebook carts are just becoming more and more prevalent on my campus as well. So I truly think it's awesome for students to be able to express their understanding through various digital tools and the platform for sharing their final work. That can differ from Google Classroom. It can be printed and displayed in the hallway or even used as a class presentation and so much more. So Cacoo and Canva are great for teachers to have the option to create everything from a fun poster or design to an assignment for their students as well. So why use these digital tools? They are great because they have one login that students can utilize with their Google email address through the district, and they can express their ideas and create customizable learning artifacts. So these are what the two home pages look like for both websites. And as you can see, they have much to offer. Canva is a free graphic design tool where students and teachers can create anything from a flyer to an invitation. Whereas Cacoo is awesome if you want to create diagrams, flowcharts, if you're sequencing, or maybe you want to make a mind map. So from this point, I'm going to focus primarily on Cacoo, and then we'll circle back to Canva and look at those features as well. So signing into Cacoo, students and teachers can access this tool from school or home using their web address here. And they also have an app available for download. So with this one, first you have to select education and then log in with your GISD Google credentials. So students would use their full Google email address, and teachers would use their email address as well. And this is what the home screen will look like whenever students and teachers both log in. They have folders for various projects. There's an option to have shared projects, and it tracks any recent work, of course. And then down at the bottom slide, you can see the different shapes and other tools whenever building either your mind map or your timeline. So here are some of the features that they have as well. It allows for multi-user editing, which is great for group or team assignments or working with counterparts. There's in-app comments, and it also gives activity notifications. So you're not constantly checking back. You can get notified whenever somebody has made a modification. Then it can also be shared via link, email, or social media, or you can export your creation just as a PDF. Here we go. So then here's just a couple samples here. You can see it is definitely a tool that allows users to present and communicate ideas in a creative but also organized format. And then I've just included some other sample templates that I think personally make really great outlines for teachers. They have Venn diagrams. As a former reading teacher, I can't tell you how many times I wanted a clean Venn diagram, or if I wanted to create an outline for the points of comparison within a Venn diagram that I wanted students to touch on. This template's already within the software program, within the digital tool, and teachers can just modify it to their specifications. So there's mind maps here as well. I think these are great for supporting claims, offering reasoning or text evidence. I think reading teachers, history teachers, science teachers would find this useful. And then, of course, Fishbone or the timeline, whichever the teachers prefer to call it, it's referred to as a fishbone within Cacoo. If they're working on sequencing or turn of events and so forth, that would be a great one to send down to the students as well to construct an assignment out of. So here's a few samples. Here's one of basically a finished product of what the digital tool has to offer. So the next slides are exactly that. This could be saved as a PDF. It's an assignment that could just be sent down to Google Classroom or shared in the Drive for students to see their assignment directions and refer back to them. Or if students had iPads, they could open this up and view their assignment this way. This next sample is just kind of a more simplified version of before. Again, it can be saved as a PDF and sent down to Classroom, but not as much verbiage within this particular sample. Could still include assignment directions. This is a collaborative Cacoo that I created with a teammate. We were planning an AVID lesson, and this is basically a mind map of what we needed in order for it to be successful. It touches on all of the Wicker strategies, and we color coded pretty much everything that we did. Where one of us was talking, we were a specific label, and then we kept a checklist down on the bottom. I think this would be great for teachers. This one, I think, this career choice Cacoo, I think would be a relevant one with as prominent AVID is becoming in our district. Even if students were to pull, or a teacher were to pull students' Naviance data, I think that this could extend that data even further for students to kind of brainstorm as to maybe what kind of college they'd want to go to or what degree they would be interested in. And then finally, this is a station organization layout within Cacoo. This is my last sample, and this is one that could be used just for station design. It can include digital tools and then maybe the finished project that could come from those specific tools themselves. There's iMovie in here, how interview skills could be beneficial, and so forth. And then also kind of an introductory lesson as well with using journalism. So I hope that's plenty of samples within Cacoo and how it could be helpful for teachers or for students, and hopefully how it could be used within the classroom as well. That said, we'll move on to Canva. So signing into Canva, very similar as with our previous tool. It can be accessed from home or from school. And they also have an app. But like I previously stated, there's so many desktop or Chromebook stations at my campus. We primarily are using those. Students and teachers would select education and then again log in with their GISD user credentials. So here are just a few Canva samples of what students and teachers have as the options to create everything from banners, posters, or presentations. But what I'm really hoping you glean from this one is definitely the motivation and to build future ready lessons, because there are lesson plans within Canva, which this is my favorite part of this particular digital tool is they've already built them. I think a lot of teachers can get overwhelmed and be introduced to tools and then maybe not know how to use them in the classroom. Before I move on, I'm going to keep the website down at the bottom, and at the end of the webinar, if time allows, I'll try to explore and show y'all more of the teaching materials, but I wanted to make sure you had the rest of the link for the teaching materials with Canva as well. But as you can see, I pulled just a couple screenshots. We have some snazzy options here with John and Vicky. There's visual poetry, which would be awesome for ELAR. Career infographics. This has Avid written all over it. From these two samples, I almost had trouble deciding what to use as an example for this webinar, whether it be the historical figure fan page or an epic event. But I think what's really outstanding is they build the lesson plan for you with specifications. So here we go. I chose Vicky's. She has an epic event. This is just one of her samples here. And if you notice, right whenever you click on the lesson, it already has the learning objective there for you. So if you know this just isn't the direction you're headed, you can go back to the other lessons, but I know how teachers love a learning objective already written out for them. And then the resources are there as well. Everything from the lesson plan to the quick guide, and then additional tips for great design as well. So whenever we drill down into Vicky's lesson, she has given us achievables. She's given us objectives. There's prep. She has offered a suggested flow, and she gives us options for history or literature. So it could be used within either content area or whatever the focus may be for the specific class, along with lesson extensions. So whether a teacher would choose to use these as homework or classroom extensions, I think it's awesome. So thank you, Canva and Vicky. Now, the hyperlink. If you're kind of looking through this, wondering what are these quick tips for great design, quick guide to Canva, what does that mean? So within specific lessons, if it's relevant to the lesson, it'll be mentioned in here. It's about a 15-slide presentation that a teacher could use to give the class kind of an overview about Canva prior to the student creating. So just a couple of good slides from that lesson that they have available. They offer ways to search. They give suggestions for using text boxes, selecting certain header or subtitle body text, and gives really great tips for the students, but not overwhelming. Again, it's only a 15-slide presentation. So something else that I really liked about several of the lessons is that they provide design tips along with design samples specific to the lesson. So oftentimes teachers or even new teachers that maybe they don't have previous year student work will assign a project but not describe or even maybe display what either the finished product ought to look like or what comprises even an aesthetically appealing product. And I like how Canva does that. They offer samples within the lesson plans that are necessary. So these design tips were included in Vicky's, and they kind of suggest how to use color to make their design stand out, what a strong header might look like, how picking a color palette, how that needs to be consistent, containing their images and not having them overlapping, and then, of course, keeping it simple. So really quick little tips maybe to remind students how to really streamline their presentation or their product. Now, if we had clicked on the other assignment, which was the historical figure fan page, these are the design tips that were included in that. So, excuse me. The final product was supposed to look like an effective social media cover or fan page, and they gave samples of those using Dr. Seuss, the Dalai Lama, and Will Smith to just give an idea so that students have something to compare to, how do their images need to be aligned, and so forth. And then again, these resources, they're saved as PDF within Canva, and they can be shared through, of course, Drive with their students, or teachers can push them down to the Google Classroom so they have them readily accessible for their class as well. All right, so we have a little bit of time. I'd like to show you more about the Canva lesson plans, just because I think they truly offer that something extra along with using the tool. So here's some of the other lessons. I mean, the page just keeps scrolling, quite honestly. So this is where we started. I used his as the sample. Everything from visual poetry to graphic instructional texts and career infographics. This one here, I liked how they used everything from math to the food chain to a comic book creation to social studies, all about Australia, making a poster within Canva. And then Paul has historical infographics, author innovation through social media, and then social change. That would have been very relevant with Black History Month. Here's another one, math, science. Guessing a mystery artist, a character's journey would be fantastic for reading, inferencing with pictures, ratios. So there's really so much to choose from in here. Excuse me. And then many of these authors also have their own Twitter handles and have other blogs as well that are really interesting to follow. I liked this one, using images in school projects. Students will explore the ethical use of digital content. They will better understand Creative Commons licenses and create an engaging visual using an image licensed under Creative Commons. And there's actually an entire research assignment here prior to creating the Canva, by having students look at Creative Commons and learn more about license-free images. And then again, there's the quick guide and tips for great design as well. The lesson plan, again, is built in here. Their lesson plan is very much streamlined. The title, the achievables, background for teachers, all of the prep with links, suggested flow of the lesson, and any different design notes and homework extensions for the students. I really liked the closing for this one, saying, sadly, few respect the ownership and rights of photographers. Consider asking students to create another graphic in Canva that encourages their peers to respect the rights of photographers by using images in appropriate ways and or selecting content from Creative Commons collections when creating final products. So I really love how they instill the digital citizenship while creating a final product as well. So our time is coming to a close. Again, my name is Crystal Shepard and my partner is Christine Seapaul. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns about Canva or Cacoo. Here is our information. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.